Snitties.
Greetings,
Celebrations.
adventurers, and welcome to the first session of the Sword of the Skulls campaign, which is incredibly goddamn exciting and terrifying at the same time. I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. It is raining. It's approaching night. It's a spring rain. It's fairly warm in the air, but night is fast approaching.
Hey, you're finally awake. You okay?
As okay as I can be in this scenario. Are you okay? Actually, don't answer that. I don't really
okay.
care.
Fair enough.
That cart, we should probably follow that.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea. I don't think there's anyone driving it. It's just you and me and that guy. I point to the Goliath.
The Goliath does very briefly open his eyes and kind of groans. And so as he's groggily kind of looking around, MVCDM, what does he see?
A young, you would say probably adolescent for a wood elf, has mostly naturally colored clothing, sort of lots of tans and greens and stuff. And he has like a gnarled wooden staff that he carries with him and a leather backpack, which Malia, you probably know, moves around a little as like it has something inside. And yeah, he has pale skin and bright green eyes and also green hair.
None of that seems to be of interest to the Goliath, and still semi-consciously kind of lolls his head around to then look at Malia. And so what's he staring at when he sees Malia?
You would see a humanoid-looking person, quite pale, very like shoulder-length, dark hair, very black, pulled back in braids. Very dark clothing as well, aside from like a couple of embellishments and like brown leather belts, that sort of thing. 2 daggers, one on each side. Someone that looks like they're trying to blend into the shadows a little bit.
The Goliath does seem to kind of lift his arm, kind of point to you a little bit, and then just collapses again.
This cart, I guess we should take it, but do you know where we should be going? Because my plan is just to follow wherever this road goes, but I don't actually have a destination in mind.
Would I know how long it would take us to get to said person that I know well?
Yeah, with the cart, maybe a couple of hours out of the city.
Well, the good news is we're going to be traveling for like maybe 2 days tops.
Okay, that sounds like a nice cart ride. Should we see if we can get underway? Oh, maybe I should ask the horse. I go over to talk to the horse because as a circular shepherd druid, I can understand the speech of all beasts and they can understand me. I'm like, hey there. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
What's your name? If you have one.
Hey.
God.
Okay. I don't suppose you'd be kind enough to take us down this road.
Yeah.
Cool. Here. And I'm gonna reach into my somewhere and pull out like an apple. I think it's probably not beyond me to come by and give it to the horse.
Brilliant. The horse just noms on that immediately. No hesitation whatsoever.
Can you specify somewhere, please?
It's an incredibly ornate leather pouch that has the words apple bag engraved on it.
That was fucking delicious. Have you got any more?
Yeah, probably. And I just immediately reach into the now canonically established ornate apple bag and pull out a second apple.
All right, that's great. I've been standing here for hours. Are you ready to go?
Oh, I think so. Hey, are we ready to go?
Oh, you're talking to me now?
Yeah, that's why I'm speaking in your language and not like a horse. I'll drive if you like. Me and this horse seem to have a pretty good rapport.
As you two go riding off down the road, we'll head north a ways to a ship, Jonty's lover. On that ship, we have a couple of other friends. Gio, would you like to describe Jad for us and give us an idea of what Jad might be doing coming into nighttime on the decks of the ship?
Okay, cool. So Jad is our 7-foot old orc who is a monk. He has a scar that goes from the top of his head across his left eye. He wears an eye patch. He's not a pirate, so do not get that confused, but he does have an eye patch. He has fiery orange long hair that's in a man bun and a fiery orange Garibaldi beard. And currently, what he's doing is he's lighting up a candle, pulling out the Book of the Order, and just reading to himself in his little cabin area.
What kind of passages are in this book?
The chapter he's up to is something that he's been stuck on for quite some time, and that is appropriate judgment calls. It's regarding how, in a moment between a life and death situation where life is okay to be taken if it's necessary, if that is a more merciful way. And he gets stuck every time he reads this chapter because he can't quite grasp the concept of death being appropriate in any shape, way, or form.
Elsewhere on the ship, it will be Lilith. Ash, would you like to describe Lilith for us and walk us through what Lilith might be doing?
Lilith would probably just be waking up right about now. She is in the cargo hold at the bottom of the ship because it is the darkest area of the ship, and she feels very comfortable there. She wakes up and stretches. She almost grazes the ceiling down there because she is quite a tall woman with lustrous black hair down to the middle of her back, pointed features, and dusky purple skin. She's wrapped in striking, bold fabrics in the colors of a twilight sky. Not necessarily like a dress, but more like she found some pretty things and belted them on over the clothes she was already wearing. And while this is interesting, I'd say that the most striking feature about Lilith is what looks to be at first like a wreath or a crown around the front of her head. But closer inspection reveals a pair of horns made of elements of bone and wood and vine that are braided and twisted from the back of her head, curling around like a crown in front of her forehead. And yeah, she's probably just waking up very displeased with her surroundings and making her way to the top deck to watch the sunset.
On the way past, the Tabaxi first mate will notice that you've come out onto the top deck. It'll be daytime when we disembark tomorrow, so just be sure you don't sleep through it. I don't want to take you back to the north when we leave.
Don't tell me you'd miss my company.
I would absolutely not miss your company.
She gives him a little pat on the head and walks up to the bow of the ship.
He will purr. He doesn't like the fact that he purrs, but it's not the first time that this exact interaction has happened. So Sanborn will make his way down to the lower deck and just start knocking on doors and conveying that same message, just preparing everyone to make sure they're aware that they'll be able to dock and leave the following day. And so Sanborn knocks on your door, Jack.
Yes.
Just to let you know, we'll be leaving tomorrow if that's still your plan. The priest seems pretty keen to get off and take his ward over to Esterbor. Will you be joining them? Are you going back?
No, I will be with them. My service is not yet ended.
What service?
It's a long story, young one.
Anything else either of you two would like to do on the ship as the night unfolds?
Jad is more than comfortable to attend to his reading at night, all alone in his cabin, without anyone near him.
Lilith will just pull out her journal and draw a quick little sketch of the sunken ships and whatever constellations might be appearing over them as the sun sets.
As you do that, on that lower deck, the second deck, a dinner bell will ring. The ship does have its own cook. Been toiling away at one of his personal favorites. Absolutely bland, steaming hot and buttery mashed potatoes. The cook is a large tiefling, and serves up in these very crude wooden bowls just chunks of this mashed potato. And just kind of tosses it over towards you.
Thank you very much for the food.
Gathering
potatoes.
at a table between two rows of hammocks where most of the crew of the ship sleep. A couple of members of that same crew who are doing the night watch will be sitting down at the table with their steaming bowls of mashed potato, as will a couple of the passengers. So you've been on the ship for 2 weeks now. You've met most of them. Will you be sitting at the table, do you think, or squirreling off on your own to eat your...
You said there were members of the Clement Heart out on the ship, weren't they?
Correct. Yep. 2 monks.
Yes. I'm gonna. Jad will make his way towards the monks sitting with his people, and I'm assuming how the table is set. Like he probably, although he's sitting at the table, he will sit on the opposite side where he's still kind of alone to himself, and he will have his book out, still reading while eating potatoes at the same time.
Lilith takes her bowl of potatoes and sits with the commoners, the pilgrims, who she has been antagonizing for the last few weeks. And as she sits down, she tries the potatoes. You said they're bland?
Yeah, completely bland.
Yeah.
There's a bit of butter in there, but that's it.
So she reaches into one of the pouches on her hip and she just pulls out a shitload of salt and just puts it over the potatoes and mashes it in and goes from there.
And so, sitting with the commoners then, this 11-year-old boy kind of look up at Lilith and kind of lean forward and go as if to speak, but his father will then kind of push it back. I suppose you want to share any of that salt there, do you?
Who says it's salt, darling?
Well, looks like salt, mate. I worked at a salt mine half my life. I know what salt looks like.
She will simply look at the child and stare at him with a smile frozen on her face, and she will not blink, and she will just stare at this child until he gets uncomfortable.
Staring match with an 11-year-old. Tessa, one of the monks, you've still got your book with you, Dad. Tessa will ask if she can see it.
He just gently pushes it forward, like this with a mouthful of potato and.
Is this the master's copy? This isn't your own copy. This is too old.
Merrick believed that this would be helpful for me.
Why you?
I think he gave it to me as a guidance, just because I might need the extra help. Because the more I'm better equipped, the better I can help others.
Jerry, second monk, will lean over and just gently take the book, Tessa, and pass it back to you, Dad.
Thank you, Jerry.
And Jerry, a very kind-looking half-elf, say, "Don't let Tessa put fear in you. There are valuable lessons here to learn. And if this is indeed Merrick's copy, there will be insights and wisdoms here that many of us have never seen. Keep this close. Keep it safe."
I appreciate that. Thank you.
At this point, we're going to go back to Malia, who, much, much shorter than 2 days worth of traveling, will be approaching the city of Eldebor. But you have a choice. So there will be 2 gates into Eldebor that you could take. The southern gate or the western. Malia, you're very much aware that there will be sort of guards on those gates.
Which of the gates have I had better experiences with?
Would you like to roll the first die of the campaign and give me a history check?
It's a 1.
Please?
Me? The dice goblin?
Yes.
Absolutely, I would. Oh no. That's a 4.
Cool. A gate's a gate. It doesn't matter which one you go in whatsoever.
I'll go to the closest gate, whichever one's not going to be like direct route.
Excellent.
Well, we got here much faster than you said we would.
Yeah.
Um,
I was just seeing if you'd believe me blindly, which I guess I found my answer.
well, I mean, it was your cart, so I figured you'd know the distance from
Oh,
the cart to the
it's not
destination.
my cart. It's a friend of mine's.
Oh, what's your friend's name?
You have a lot of questions.
Yep, you ask so few questions. We're two different people. I ask a lot of questions, and you seem to go based solely on assumptions. And, each to their own.
Speaking of assumptions, let's go. This gate's going to be fine.
Ah, yes, Eldebor. You may not know this, but this was once a very important elvish city. It's mostly merchants there now. Do you have some business in the city?
I come here quite often, actually. We're going to head on over to the Horn and the Hoof. Maybe pick up a job, some money.
Well,
Are you going to just hang around, or what's your next move?
well, at the moment, I'm just along for the ride because the dragon told me that our destinies are intertwined, and I'm going to listen to the dragon because they are much older and wiser than I am. So we're now best friends.
Why were you even out on the road? You don't really seem like someone who's just out and about traveling.
Oh, I felt a calling to leave my home, and I answered it, and that subsequently led to you, so I guess the calling can't have been too far wrong. You seem like a really nice person, so I'm glad that our destinies are intertwined. I don't know about that guy. I assume the Goliath is still just fully unconscious.
Completely.
You okay?
Yeah.
When you say a call-in, like did someone say, "Hey, you should leave your home now," or did like a god speak to you? Because I know some people are into that shit.
It's hard to describe, but like, how much do you know about elves and our like shared history and I guess mindset and feelings?
Well, I can honestly say I've never been an elf.
Well, to paraphrase a lot of very dry historical lore, essentially we have
Yeah, skip
kind of
to
like
the good part.
we have kind of like shared history and knowledge passed down from all elves to all other elves, and I guess you kind of say it's that was calling to me to leave.
Very unspecific. Wow.
You said you wanted the important part. I gave you the important part. Would you like to
Yeah,
hear the
I just
2-hour-long
didn't.
presentation I have on elves shared psychology?
I mean, maybe some other time when I am asleep or drunk, or not here with you. Oh wow, look at that! And I'm just gonna point at something random to distract Vermillion.
Which would presumably then be the gate. And at that gate stand two guards who immediately yell out, "Stop right there!" These two fairly burly guards, one a human, one a hobgoblin, will kind of wander on over to the cart, look the both of you up and down, take a
Hey
peek.
fellas, how you doing? Nice evening for it.
I haven't said you could talk yet, mate.
Oh, I didn't realize it was one of those kind of stuffs. Okay, I'll keep my mouth shut.
What's your business in Eldebor?
What do you think? We're here to trade and pick up some shit. That's what Eldebor is known for.
A strange time of night to be coming in to trade, don't you think?
Am I allowed to speak now?
Surely that's not unheard of. I've been here a few times now. You shouldn't be surprised.
I ain't seen you before.
I'm happy to answer
Oh.
all your questions, but I'm not allowed to speak.
Speak.
I was also holding my breath for some reason. Okay. So we're just coming into the city to seek lodgings because, as you said, it's getting dark and it's not particularly hospitable out on the road.
It's not raining that hard. Looks hospitable enough to me.
I got one question for you. Would you like to spend the night on a
In a haunted
cart
house.
with Vermillion here?
Why would I want that?
Which is exactly why I would like to find some lodgings, please.
Look, you can go in. We're not going to stop you. But it is going to cost 5 coppers.
5 copper. Sure, if it gets you off my back, let's do it. And I'll just hand over the 5 copper.
Beautiful. At which point they will turn aside and let you through.
Just gonna, when their backs are turned.
And we'll jump back up to the ship for a bit. As most of the more common folk, the crew kind of disperse. That's the point at which Redwin, the red dragonborn priest, will emerge from his room. And his acolyte assistant will come out with him and take a seat at the table next to you. His acolyte, essentially PA, I guess, Willett Wedgwood, very talkative owl, who kind of looks at you, Lilith, and asks, "Are you excited? Are you excited that we get to go to shore tomorrow?"
Lilith, who has been suffering bouts of seasickness for the past week without telling anybody, just stares at him and just, I do think I would like to feel land underneath my feet again. It's a little lonely out here, don't you think? There's nothing around, and you're all so boring.
I don't think I could agree that it's boring. It's very interesting. If you see the way the waves splash, it's incredible. I could watch that for hours.
Yes, I suppose you could.
Do you not feel the same?
No,
What do you like to watch?
I don't think she answers him. I
What?
don't think she really cares about this Alan's conversation. Lilith just stands up and leaves the table, I think, if she's finished eating. If she's finished having her stare off with Brian with a Y. And just goes back up to the top deck.
At which point Willett will immediately then slide in next to Jad. Is there something you like to watch?
I like flowers. They're nice with the wind breeze, the swaying of sand and sun. Yeah, flowers in wind.
It's a very pretty image. Have you seen the waves?
They're nice too. Why do you like waves?
I don't know. I'd never seen them before until we took this journey, until we took this pilgrimage.
Journeys are very eye-opening. You're very youthful. It's good. Much to learn.
Yeah, I think so. But I think Redwood has a lot to teach. At this point, Redwood will interrupt. Willett! It's enough. You don't need secrets of our order dispersed amongst the likes of this one.
How fares Aaron Prince?
Shh! Don't need to say his name so loudly. It's meant to be a secret that he's even here.
You like keeping in shadows.
No,
It's a
I would
shame.
like to keep my ward alive.
And
Wow.
how fares he?
It's much the same. All you need to know is he's safe. That bitch at the Citadel instructed you to travel with us to Estebar. That's unnecessary. But if you're so inclined, you and your friends, to join us, you may. But no one is to know who we travel with. It's too dangerous. He's too important.
The one from the Citadel. You would acknowledge her own importance too.
He's like any other righteous, overbearing, far too dependent on her gods and her magic. There's only one true god that can save any of us.
Does your one true God understand we here to help? Those who have power are to help those of weaker. And yet you dismiss ideas of that for what? Your own ego?
Self-sufficiency. My god doesn't expect us to come running asking for help.
But does your God provide help
No.
when those seek it?
Why?
So why are you tasked then with the ward?
That's a matter for my superiors.
Then my duty will still be to escort to make sure he's safe.
If you insist.
I'm going to go read now. And he just proceeds to get up, does a little bow, and makes his way towards his room. But wants to walk past the bedroom for where there is Erin lies.
Mm-hmm.
And while walking past, I just want to be able to hear if I hear anything coming from beyond the door.
Nothing more really than the slop of the water against the hull of the ship, creaking timbers.
I just keep going and go back to my room.
We'll go back to Malia and Vermillion, who at this point will be approaching the Horn and Hoof, owned by Palisam Kynes, a tiefling tavern keep associate of Malia.
Is this the place?
Is there a sign that says the Horn and Hoof?
It's a picture sign, so pictorial sign. It'll be a horn, just a single horn, and a hoof.
Wow, the antler foot. That looks like a nice place. Where should I park the cart? So I'm going to pull the cart, I guess, over to the side of the street. I don't know how parking works.
Yeah.
I certainly can't reverse park a cart.
Reverse parallel park.
There would be a space next to this tavern off of the road.
Yep.
That seems
Right,
suitable for a cart.
I'll pull the cart in there, and then I'll hop down, and I'll be like to the horse, "Thanks, buddy. I think this is where you belong, so we'll be going. Oh, here you go." And I give him another apple from my apple pouch.
I was literally just going to ask for another one. Thank you so much. Out of the door, the door's slammed open, and a woman comes striding out at pace, dressed completely in white. What you'll see, so she'll be wearing a white veil. More or less everything else underneath that is kind of covered. So she has a very large white furred coat.
Let's get inside.
Malia, what are we going to do about... Just like gesturing at the Goliath who is still unconscious in the back of the cart.
He'll be fine. Just leave him there. He's just sleeping it off. It's fine.
Okay, that seems reasonable.
I'm not going to take care of him. He's got to learn the hard way that you shouldn't pass out and not wake up. And in I go.
Standing by the fire, you will see a tall, dashingly handsome tiefling who immediately spreads his arms open wide. Malia, sweetling, you have returned to me. I am sorry for pulling you from your work.
How'd your cart get out in the middle of fucking nowhere?
Gorthak? Wait, where is Gorthak? Where is my Goliath friend?
Oh, he's your friend. He's out on the cart still.
Oh, he's adorable. You will love him.
Well, I've kind of only really seen him with his eyes closed. I don't really have an opinion aside from the fact that he really can't hold a fight, apparently.
I'm not sure I understand. What do you mean? His eyes closed.
Like he's a fucking burden. He's been sleeping this entire time.
That does not sound like my big, strong Goliath.
Anyway, why'd you send him out after us?
We have a new job. It is very, very important. Very secret. We must keep this close to ourselves and not tell anyone.
Hi there, I'm Vermillion. I love secrets.
He is my self-proclaimed, apparently new best friend, which
That's-
I am not gonna advocate for.
And what is your story then, little elf?
Well, I was born in. Just proceeds to give far too detailed an account of his entire life. And then we were in some kind of arena and we fought, and then everything disappeared, and then a dragon dropped us where your cart was, and then said that we should just hang out together, and that's how me and Malia became best friends. And then I drove the cart to here, and then came inside, and then you were talking about secrets, and then I decided that I'd like to be part of the conversation too, and then you asked me about what my story was, and then I started telling you about my story, and that's everything right up until this moment.
Stop.
Can I have a drink? Can someone bring like hard liquor?
I would get Nessie to give you a drink, but Nessie is missing. But yes, I will pour for all of us. I need a drink after that story also. You've had a long day. And Palisar will go to the bar and open a probably secret little cabinet then and pull out some kind of, say, whiskey that's clearly not normally on offer and pour out 3 shot glasses. Pass one to Malia.
Which I will take happily.
And will drink the other 2 himself. Sweetling, this job pays very well. Gothak was to help you, but it seems he's not in a very good condition to help. And he'll look over at Vermillion. You will need an extra pair of hands to work a boat. I'm sorry, I don't have anyone else here. If he says anything to anyone about this job, kill him immediately. Out into the harbor, there is a ship called Jonty's. This is a little different than your normal work. You have to prevent an assassin. I have word there will be an assassination attempt on this boat.
Who?
This. I can't tell you that.
Well, how the fuck am I supposed to know who I'm protecting if you won't tell me?
You don't need to know who you're protecting. You just need to look for slinky, staying in shadows person.
Not to interject, but I feel like Malia is a kind of slinky hide in the shadows person. So she's not the assassin, right?
Not this time.
I don't like how you said this time.
Look, I'm gonna be frank, and I'll look at Pelisam at this point. If you're not gonna give me all the information, you're gonna give me a higher fee, or you're gonna start talking. Like, I'm not going in blind.
Very well. Triple your usual fee.
That I can deal with. Just one thing you just kind of glossed over earlier. Nessie's missing. Missing might come back, or missing a couple of feet under the earth.
I don't know yet what her situation is, but I intend to find out. Tell me, new friend, can you row a boat?
Sure.
Then you will be paid for services. Do not breathe a word of what has been spoken to anyone.
Got it. Keep it a secret. I love secrets. I keep the secret and I row the boat.
Please. It will be morning soon. They will be coming to shore. You must make haste.
Fabulous. Let's get the fuck out of here.
See you later, new friend.
You found a boat. You found a boat. What are you going to do with it?
I'm going to look at Vermillion and be like, well,
oh yeah, this is my... Yep, that's my thing. I row the boat and I keep the secret. Let's go. I do not sing Roy Roy Bird. I just keep my cadence by saying, I row the boat and I keep the secret. I row the boat and I keep the secret. I row the boat and I keep the secret.
You can say that internally if you like.
No, it's a lot harder for me to do it when I keep it internal. I'm just going to keep saying it out loud. I row the boat and I keep the secret.
If we're gonna get on this boat undetected, you should probably be quiet.
That seems pretty sensible. I row the boat and I keep the secret. I row the boat and I keep the secret.
Jad and Lilith, whereabouts are you two respectively going to be?
The conversation with the Owlin about the waves sounded interesting. So Jad is actually going to go up on top deck to go and watch the waves.
Lilith was on the top deck. So she watches the sunset. She likes to watch the sunset. And when she's done with that, she does a slow pass of the railing of the ship every day with her dagger and just scrapes the salt where it has crystallized from the seawater and just dumps it into her pouch. So she's somewhere with a knife just scraping salt off of wood and putting it into her salt bag.
The bosun of the ship, Bathilda, a pretty burly half-orc, will probably approach you first, Lilith. I've told you not to do that.
Lilith makes eye contact with her and then just licks the taffrail instead.
Just keep the knife off the bloody rail, will ya? Gotta sand it down every time you do. Oh, the silent scholar emerges, I see. What brings you topside?
Watching the waves.
You want to watch out for those waves. Doesn't take much for them to drag you down to the inky gaps, you know.
I'll be mindful.
How's the prone one? Captain said we weren't asking questions, but it's a bit curious. What exactly happened there?
Some people can't handle the boat. It's easier to sleep off a journey than ride the waves.
Some folk shouldn't come on the bloody water if they can't handle the trip. Who'd want to go to that forsaken place anyway?
Well, actually, he's dead. We just brought him home, that's all.
Bathilda is visibly confused. Well, which is it?
They
dead or are they sick?
How would you have preferred to have found out that there was someone who was sequestered away in their room, not comfortable leaving, or that there was a corpse, possibly rotting in your midst?
Well, listen, there's protocols if it's a corpse. If it's a corpse, it's got to go down below in the hold. When did this happen?
Oh, he's been dead for weeks.
Does the captain know this?
Oh, yes.
She's just messing with you.
I'm not. I would like to roll a
Lilith.
deception check. 12. No, my dice do not like me tonight.
That's fine. Bathilda's believing Lilith over Jad on this one. But we'll leave the two of you there and head back to the captain's quarters.
You're being troublesome. It's annoying.
You being boring is quite annoying also.
Jad, you hear like a clunk at the side of the ship, like wood on wood, but doesn't sound like the standard kind of creaking that you've become accustomed to.
I look over and to see where the source of the sound.
Small rowboat. It's been lashed to the side of the ship, though.
I immediately make my way to Erin's quarters.
Malia and Vermillion. You've approached the ship.
Hey, Malia. I think it's best if we're both kind of as hard to find as possible. And I think I can help with that. And I would like to cast Pass Without Trace. So we both have +10 to stealth and cannot be tracked except by magical means. And we leave no tracks or traces of our passage.
I'm going to focus on and then climb on. I have spider climb, so I'm going to leverage that if I can. I don't get down like a crab or anything and start scuttling up the side of the boat, but you just notice that it's a lot more graceful than the average person would be climbing up the side of a boat. I am going to have a look around. Is there anyone up top with us at all?
Yes. You see a very tall, horned purple creature, probably licking the rails of the ship.
I don't think that's the assassin. I'm gonna say that to Vermillion. And
Okay.
I guess do like a little bit of recon.
Can they roll a stealth check against my passive?
Sure.
The plus 10 because it's passed without a trace, yeah?
Mhm. Yeah,
Correct.
Yeah, we'll throw that out.
And I'm calling it now. First natural 20 of the campaign.
Hey!
Woo!
+3 is 23, +10 from pass without trace is a 33. So
You two successfully kind of scout the top deck of this ship without Lilith noticing and without the sole
Sneaking
crew member
around.
on the ship noticing either. Who's kind of a little ways up the rigging, just, keeping a general eye out, but is
rigging stuff.
probably just having a dart, chilling out.
Mm.
As you sneakily make sure that you pass Lilith like ships in the night, undetected. You'll also clock on the other side of the ship than you clambered up from a second rowboat on the side there. So this is the one that Jad saw earlier. Jad,
I know. Yes.
you've headed downstairs.
Beelined it straight for where the quarters are. I am looking for Redwin.
Redwin's still at the table, probably reading a small book by candlelight.
There is a boat that's attached to this boat. I am concerned.
There's no way anything could have gotten past me.
Can we just be vigilant? I am concerned.
Redwin's already up at that point, and we'll open the door and head in.
Cool. I head in with him.
Erin's not there. Redwin will bolt past you through the door, up to the top deck. Malia and Vermillion, you'll see a kind of a grey-robed priest looking dragonborn come barreling up these stairs from the deck below. Run over to the side of the ship, clock this boat. Doesn't see you, but does see the boat. He's then going to run immediately for the captain's quarters, which is on this top deck. Start banging on the door.
I dare say that we should probably find out what he's so panicked about.
Do you think that's the boat the assassin used?
I would hazard a guess that yes, that would probably be my assumption.
I would like to sneak over to where the second boat is and cut its moorings.
Lilith, you would have also seen Redwin come barreling out from below deck and rush over to the captain's quarters.
She does like a bit of drama, so she probably meandered over to the door or near it.
Redwin will be banging on the captain's door, which is going to kind of creak open. What you see when you walk into the captain's quarters is the bosun, Bathilda, our burly half-orc, over the corpse of Captain Atwell Covell, seemingly trying to revive the captain. He's gone. And so this is a water genasi. Very handsome looking dude in life. Very enigmatic. Didn't wear a top a whole lot, but these like big puffy bright yellow pantaloons. He's lost
Promethean killed a DILF. This is bullshit.
He's lost a little bit of luster.
I want to redo.
In death. Redwin sort of comes to a halt. What's happened here? Bathilda will turn back. Someone's killed the captain! That will kind of snap her out of the state that she's been in. She's going to go to... There's a little bell at the captain's door. Start banging on this bell. And assorted crewfolk from that second deck start to emerge onto the top deck. Some of the passengers will kind of start wandering up. Bathilda will come out of the captain's quarters, kind of pushing Redwin out of the way, who to her is completely unimportant at this point in time, and start shouting commands to the crew members to start searching the ship.
I think that Lilith will join them, but she will go down to the cargo hold first.
After hearing this, I would go and attempt to find Vermillion again. If you didn't already hear, someone's killed the captain. So if you see anyone that looks like they shouldn't be here, let me know immediately.
Was our job not to prevent an assassination? It sounds like someone's been assassinated.
Yeah, thank you for the reminder. I'm gonna start looking around.
Hang on, just let me finish up with this boat real quick.
Lilith, you head down to the hold.
In the crew quarters, heading down to the hole, I'm going to cast Quick Disguise Self as well to make myself look very boring. Just like a regular person. A generic, I'm a pilgrim looking person.
Right, Lilith, down in the hole. You don't require invisibility to see two robed figures crouched over something covered in bundles of cloth between the two of us.
I will use thaumaturgy to brighten all the lanterns in the room. I will also use thaumaturgy to make my voice 3 times as loud. Hello! I don't suppose you're on the manifest?
I just run out and run to where I've heard Lilith shout.
Malia, one of the folks
Slay.
searching the top deck of this boat kind of catches your attention. The way they're moving, it doesn't look like they're as engaged in actually kind of looking for places to uncover people who might be sneaking around on the ship. They're certainly doing a really bad job of finding you and have been consistently doing so. What you do notice from this one figure who's kind of like halfway length of the ship away from where you are is they made their way to an area that's already been searched by another crew member and appear to be hiding something under a pile of ropes and kind of tarps.
I'm going to lightly nudge Vermillion, and then I'm going to almost direct route my way to this person. Not like pushing through people, but like snaking through to get to this person, to attempt to pull them into the shadows and confront them.
This individual kind of just sort of stands up straight and says, "Are you looking for the killer then?"
How visible are we to the rest of the crew right now?
In that area, not super visible.
What are you hiding there, buddy?
Where are the rope inspectors? We're here to check this out.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Look at
But it makes sense on a
Vermillion.
ship like this, I guess.
That's right, gotta check the ropes are in good order. Unfortunately, this has happened right in the middle of the inspection, but we're gonna keep going with it. So what's in these here ropes there? Whatever your name is?
Marcus, I've just been looking for some sign of an intruder on the boat, and I've definitely not been able to find one.
I'm gonna ask you one more time, and if you don't give me a straight answer or something that I believe, I'm gonna start like cutting fingers off.
We can do that. That's one of the powers that the rope inspectors have.
It seems unlikely and very excessive, but I just heard all of the shouting about the captain and just wanted to help.
I don't believe you.
I'm gonna do my job, and I'm just gonna start moving the ropes to see what's inside there.
You find underneath some of these ropes just a wickedly long curved dagger.
Does it have blood on it?
Yeah, heaps.
Malia, I think I found the assassination weapon.
That's so strange. I was just looking there and I definitely did not find that.
You are so full of shit.
Malia, I think he's lying. I think he's the assassin.
I'm gonna pull out my dagger with my spare hand and like hold it at his stomach, and I'm just gonna look him like dead in the eyes and be like, I'm gonna give you one chance to tell me why you killed the captain.
And with that, we'll head back down to the hold. The two robed figures that you've seen, Lilith, kind of immediately look up and start moving towards you, not super threateningly, just kind of casually.
Look, I might just cast sleep at second level. I hope I'm making you proud, Cass.
Beautiful. They are absolutely both out like a light immediately.
It's annoying that I only have a minute. I'm gonna run up the flight of stairs again.
And running up those stairs would run in. Yeah.
Are you going to help me tie them up?
So what does Jad see? I see two fallen people conscious.
And essentially just a pile of linens and rags bundled up.
I go to the pile of linen and rags and lift it up to see anything underneath.
It's your boy Aaron! Woo! Snow whited. Like, super peacefully as though dead.
I check for a pulse.
You know, he doesn't have a pulse.
Does he feel cold?
Kind of room temperature.
I think Jad is just going to I guess to start to assist Lilith.
The two unconscious folk then being tied.
Actually, no. I'm going to pick up Aaron and sort of take him back up to the chambers, his actual chambers he's meant to be in.
So you grab Aaron and start heading up the stairs. Malia, threatening back on the top deck. This
Attempting.
individual, their shoulders just kind of slump. I don't know who you are, but I promise you do not want to be here right now.
Unfortunately, I'm here on business. So are you going to start talking, or are you going to tell me why I don't want to be here?
I would take my own life before I told you anything.
I can make that happen.
I don't
I'm
particularly
going to try
want
to
that
cut off
happen.
one of his fingers.
Which finger?
Pointer finger.
He's going to let loose a scream. The two of you are going to roll for initiative.
I'm going to hold the dagger against a second finger. I'm giving you another chance. You going to speak? Because here's the thing. I don't have to kill you. I can just chip away at it until you wish you were dead.
He's not giving you anything from that.
I'm going to attempt to cut off a second finger.
Go for it. He's down another finger then?
He's missing these two fingers.
Oh dear, this goes so far beyond rowing the boat. I am going to expend one use of my wild shape and turn into a constrictor snake and constrict the fuck out of Marcus.
Whilst this is happening, Lilith and Jad down in the hole, and Redwin will have met up with you at this point and have demanded to know what's going on.
She's just going to point at the two captured people that she's sitting in front of. Also, still looking like a commoner. Like, she does not look like Lilith at the moment.
Yeah, and he would have even been paying attention to you. But yeah, when he does, visibly confused, no idea what's going on. Redmond will kind of lift up these sheets of cloth and clock that it's Aaron. How did he get out of the room?
Someone wasn't watching him. Who are you, Redwin?
Absolutely get fucked, Redwin.
Fucking hate this dude.
Jad,
Shit.
Jad, gently puts down Aaron on the ground. He grabs Redwin from at the cloths here, and
You were meant to watch him.
Unhand me, you brute. Put the prince in one of those cages over there. If his life is in danger, I will stay here and I will defend him with my life. But he needs to be safe.
I ought to put you in the cages, and you've left him alone. Had we not found him,
We? Excuse me?
If, for whatever reason, you would actually like to keep him safe, then help me get him into one of those cages. As for those two over there, who are they?
Why don't we find out? Lilith's going to cast Toll the Dead on one of them.
So they're going to groggily kind of wake up out of this unconscious state.
I let go of Redwin. I take a second to regain my own composure.
Back to the top deck, and Marcus is up and is constricted. Malia, you're up again. You start hearing screaming from the other end of the ship.
I am going to pull out my rope and I'm going to attempt to tie him up.
He's well tied, and you've got up close and personal with those beautiful, beautiful vermilion
And then
scales.
and then throw him over the side.
Well, that was going to be my next thing. Is I would like to leave enough rope that I can hang him off the side of the ship
Uh-huh.
and tie him to something sturdy, so he's just hanging off the side.
Trussed up and hanging off a ship.
Just straight over the railing?
Yeah. First, tie him to something. So tie the other end of the rope to something sturdy. And then I would obviously address my snake companion. You might want to slither off. I don't know if you can understand me. And start lowering him. I'm not going to throw him. I'm just going to lower him down.
As you do so, he mutters an incantation, and a shimmering portal opens up that he then sinks into and closes as soon as he's through.
God damn it.
And he's gone.
I'm going to attempt to run towards the screaming.
I'm going to de-snake myself and also run. Wow, we really
below.
fucked that up.
Back down below.
Fucking hate magic.
Redwin wants Aaron in one of these cages. Lilith, you've beaten one of these robed figures into being awake. What would you like to do with them?
She's going to crouch down in front of him and be like, hello. So, what are you doing slinking around in the dark?
He bites his own tongue off in front of you and screams.
That is
'cause it
horrifying.
hurts. And with that, will bleed out and die as the other one wakes.
What the fuck?
I'm going to cast Sleep again, but at first level this time. On the one who is still alive.
So that will absolutely hit Jad and Redwin. Redwin does. Fall unconscious.
Does the second assassin also fall unconscious?
Yes.
She takes that opportunity, now knowing that he will kill himself, to grab another piece of rope and shove it into his mouth so that he cannot bite down.
Okay.
Like it's one of the. I'm looking for one of the. Going for one of the big round
It's
ship's ropes.
girthy.
Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
looking for a girthy rope to shove in this man's mouth.
If only you had some rope inspectors with you.
You also start hearing screaming from the decks above you.
It's fine. As far as I'm concerned, I did good down here.
Back up top, Malia, you are heading towards the screams. What you see is about, let's say, 4 brutally mangled corpses.
This is the worst prevent assassination attempt ever.
And from your position, you would see
It's Marcus.
lumbering creature moving to make its way into that lower deck. So this thing is kind of dressed in rags. Skin is hanging off it. It has a growth of some kind, like pustules and bits of seaweed hanging off it, coming off of one shoulder.
Malia, this might not be the time, but do you think that might be the assassin?
Look, at this point, everyone's a fucking assassin. I'm gonna just attempt to sneak up on it and stab it in the back.
Vermillion makes a note to renegotiate his contract for this later on, because this has gone so much further than the 2 jobs I was required to
Rope
do.
inspecting was not on that list.
Where is this monster in relation to the stairs going down to the
So
hold?
It, with that sneak attack, probably would have stumbled forward a little bit. So it's about 10 feet from the stairs going down into that next level. Yeah, there's a handful of corpses kind of in a path between presumably where it had been and where it is now.
I am going to cast Thunder Wave, which if it goes back 10 feet will hopefully make it fall down the stairs. Also, any unsecured objects are also pushed back 10 feet. So I guess the
To the rest
corpses
of the
go for a
crew.
roll.
So this creature then is pushed to the stairs. It's going to fall down the stairs.
You're saying that this creature has not taken an attack in combat with us yet?
Correct.
Well, with my assassinate feature, that means I get advantage on it again. Because I have hit it with my assassinate feature, it is considered a critical hit.
Mhm.
Correct.
Would that theoretically mean I get sneak attack as well? I'm also proficient in 2-weapon fighting. As a bonus action, I would like to attempt to stab it again.
I would like you to attempt that too, please.
I guess I'm going to whack him with my staff.
It's going to kind of roll itself down the stairs a little bit and spring up, looking at the both of you. You see this kind of waterlogged, disgustingly grey-fleshed creature again, sort of dressed in
Hot.
these rags. And you notice for the first time, its face is kind of covered by some kind of mask, which it removes, and it is terrifyingly grotesque. Vermillion, you were frightened of this hideous, disgusting creature. Jad, Lilith.
Having finished shoving a rope in this guy's mouth and pretty certain that he's not going to go anywhere, and having heard that hideously loud noise, Lilith is going to run upstairs because she's been on the ocean for 2 weeks. She knows what thunder at sea sounds like, and she knows what a storm feels like, I'm assuming, if you hit one in water, and this is not that.
Jad's gonna take the tied up person and throw them in the cage and lock the cage. He's going to pick up Redwin and rest Redwin like sort of sitting with Aaron next to him.
Yep.
Not next to the cage, but like up against one of the walls, and sort of check that there's nothing else in this room.
There's nothing that you could find in the ship. No one hiding in any secret corners or anything of that nature.
Is the only entrance to the doorway that it leads to the staircase?
Yes.
At the very
So
end,
just-
he'll be
yeah,
following
cool.
Lilith.
Lilith, as you approach the top of the stairs, what you see is similarly 4 or 5 brutalized corpses on the lower deck as well. Some still in their bunks for the crew members that were asleep. Ham, the cook, has come to rest in a pot of potatoes.
Ham and potato soup.
Approaching you is
Shit.
a different one of these exact same creatures. So grisly, wet and mottled flesh.
Also, there's like a second dude down here too.
Barnacles. There is a second one of these things now directly
Does-
facing you, and I need the 2 of you to roll initiative, please.
I will
Cool.
use my vigilant blessing.
Waterlogged corpse coming at you, covered in barnacles and spite, and because you're facing it face on, you see that it's wearing some kind of half seaweed, half kind of clay-ish material mask over its face.
I run up the staircase and sort of try and stand in between it and Lilith.
You'll love that.
And
Yep.
I'm going to use, I think I've got a quarterstaff, so I'm going to go with a quarterstaff and whack whack this interesting creature.
Go for it.
After that, I'm going to use a key point to flurry of blows.
Hey, monk
Let's
life.
go monk stuff.
It draws a rusted dagger, seemingly almost unaffected by this, and unerringly then kind of takes a shot at you.
That does hurt.
Lilith, what you got?
Cool. I am going to cast Guiding Bolt. That's a natural 20.
Whoa.
Hey,
I got
Nice.
one, guys! I did it!
Yay!
we got one.
Jack,
No, 8.
you see smoke coming out of one of the rooms down the other end of the ship there. Malia, would you like to continue wailing on this thing? I feel like momentum of this combat's going to move you down the stairs.
Yeah.
Once this is done, you'll be at the bottom of the stairs on that lower deck proper.
Nope. Annoyed and frustrated that it stepped out of the way, I haphazardly attempt to stab it again, only to miss.
Vermillion, do you want to get your stick on?
Oh, I'm very scared. Swing and a miss.
It's going to take another swing then at Malia.
I'm going to do the exact same thing and attempt to sidestep it.
Which you do so gracefully that you sidestep each other, and you have now circled down to the lower deck. So these creatures are basically fighting back to back, with a
Hot.
pair of you on the other side of each. One
Cool.
coming up the top of the stairs from the hold, the other kind of pushing down from the stairs up to the top deck.
How do the creatures look?
Lilith fucked it up. It's got some holes in it, and stuff is seeping out that just... No one's meant to see that.
There's fire coming too. We need to hurry.
And I go in for another staff and then flurry of blows.
It's really unhappy.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is where I start re-rolling a new character.
It is entirely possible. Okay, so that's 7 piercing damage and another 3 poison.
Yeah, so Jad is like looking really worse for wear.
Breathy meat.
What?
What? Lilith, you're up.
Lilith is a creature of the dark, and she reaches out to it and curls it around her hands and hexes this motherfucker in front of her. An extra thing with Hex, I choose one ability when I cast a spell. The target has disadvantage on ability checks made with that ability. I choose Wisdom. And as my action, you said that cantrips are fine. Toll the Dead, which is a Wisdom save.
Malia.
Having, danced my way down the stairs with this creature, I'm going to do what I do best and just attempt to stab it again.
How would you like to make the first kill of the campaign?
Oh,
Let's go.
She cuts his fingers off.
Yeah, one by
Yeah.
one, I just stab and I cut his fingers off. As I stab it the first time, and I keep the dagger in there. I don't pull it out. The second time, I just go straight for the temple with my second dagger, and I don't say anything. I just look it dead in the eyes and wait for it to die. Wait until I kind of see its light leave its eyes, and then just pull both out. And
Nice.
Yep, adorable. Vermillion, you easily recognize the smell of wood smoke, and you realize as this creature falls and you get a second to look around that there is definitely a fire down the other end of the ship. However, there's also another of these creatures almost immediately to your right.
I'm gonna go and hit this other one with a thunder wave. Thunder wave 2. Electric boogaloo. It will not be pushed 10 feet back. It is going to take half of the damage though. So
Which brings us back to Jad.
How close is
Yard.
the fire?
You can't see flames, you can see smoke kind of billowing out. But there's 9 rooms at the other end of the ship, very, very small kind of cabins.
Yep.
One of which you may have occupied. There's smoke billowing out of one of them, and it started to fill up that end of the ship.
I just go for a quarterstaff attack. It's not going to hit. That's like a 6.
too busy bleeding.
Speaking of bleeding, this assassin is not super happy with Lilith at this point, and this time Lilith is going to go for you, and it is completely whiffed its attack.
I am going to cast Inflict Wounds.
This spell essentially disintegrates this thing. How do you want to end this creature's miserable
Let's
existence?
go.
And she's just going to cock her head at it and say, "Darling, go straight back to where you came from." And she's just going to slap it. And as she slaps it, infuse it with the spell and explode it, maybe.
Across the corpses of these 2 rotting, stinking, sea-laden, seaweed-covered
sea monsters.
things.
Monsters.
You 4 finally and semi-officially meet for the first time. And that's where we're going to leave it.
It's a very good getting the band together. Episode 1 is getting the band together. Episode 2 is the band splits up again.
Little did you know there's a secret third campaign. You guys did amazing, and I had heaps of fun watching you. Awesome. So thank you all. This campaign will continue at this stage on a monthly basis, so keep an eye out on the socials. Be good, be nice, have fun,
Be good.
or feel free to ignore what I'm telling you, because I'm not your mum.